Welcome to another unboxing review of a 1/6 scale figure. This is by Mondo. You can see the creature from the Black Lagoon, also aka the Gill-man. This is the timed edition. Now, I think there's no standard edition for right now. This is the only one that's exclusive to Mondo's website. I do got to say, this is well packed. I love when they do the corner protectors on here. So this is definitely was not going to be damaged in shipping. Gotta love it. There's even foam at the bottom of the box. So even more extra protection. All right, there it is. Look at the box. Very cool. Love the silhouette. It's almost got definitely got the vibe from the movie with Julia Roberts' character swimming with the creature from the Black Lagoon. Got the grabber feet there. Love the minimalist artwork on this box so far. So let's look at the other side and see what it looks like. Looking at the credits, I love that they get the credits from the creature from the Black Lagoon. And the first one name I see and I recognized is Beto. It's awesome that he did this. I had no idea that he was behind this project. He did the paint. So he did the concept. He did the creature sculpture, which no surprise. Yeah, super awesome. Beto, I've known him. His work is amazing. I think it was 13 years ago. I got my first and only pretty much custom from him and Lupita's. And it was basically this guy right here, the Creepshow. I have a full video on him. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see this guy. But this is one of Beto's projects when he's do a lot of custom one of a kind. I think there's only 10 made of this one. So back to the creature from the Black Lagoon. All right, it's going to be a pretty, you can see it's a pretty big box. So I don't know if I'm going to have to fit in this little space where all my little arcade machines are here, but let's just undo at least one side. We'll take a look and see. All right, there's the inside look of the inside cover. It's pretty nice. Creature from Black Lagoon. Okay, let's unveil the creature, but first, let's see what's beneath, how many layers this is. This is the first layer. So we'll take the first layer off. We do see another layer. This actually has, looks like it's cool. It's actually got a little stand here. You can probably display the second head. There's actually I think it's three different portraits, three different heads. So you can definitely see the display stand there. So that is accessories tray, or number 2, I should say. And there is a third one. Wow. And this is actually, this one I think this is pretty much for the timed edition, which has the diorama, which is pretty cool, which we'll take a look at this. But yeah, this is, I'm almost pretty certain this is pretty much this is actually from the timed edition. So let's open up the diorama first. All right, let's see what the first one is. What is this? Oh, I know what this is. This is the actual little harpoon gun. Very cool. Look at that. Let's see if I can get a camera and get it. Very nice. And this actually, what is this? This looks like it's just rubber. So is there any moving parts on here? Nothing comes out. This looks like it's all plastic. Yeah, the detail on this thing is in the paint app, and there is very subtle weathering on it. On the tank, at least, it looks that way. Yeah, I mean, you can see the handle where it's a little bit more as if you would, this part would probably get more dirtier, since it's the hand grip, which is really, really nice touch. I love that. It's actually got a little bit burnished, I guess. And you can see on this side, it's not. So I'm surprised it didn't carry it over that burnishing effect, whatever they had there, to the other side. But either or, just a really nice little piece. Yeah, I completely forgot a lot of the pieces that were included on this. Yeah, very, very, very nice. All right, the next item here, which is really cool, they actually, with the harpoon gun, they actually included a harpoon gun stand, which is very, very cool. So I guess you just kind of put it like that. Wait, if I can get this together. Let's see if we can get it together here. Oh, it goes away a certain way. So let's see. Which way is it supposed to go in here? Oh, you know what? Oh, do these ones actually have a... Oh, I think they have a specific spot that they're actually supposed to go on. You think so? I think so. Yeah. Look at that. Right there. It goes there. Let's take this one. This probably goes like that. And then display the gun like so. Very cool. Love it. I love that they actually included a stand. I mean, you can have the creature from the Black Lagoon, the creature, Gill-man, actually hold it, but I love that they actually put a stand. That is really nice. We'll put that in the back there. We'll put that in the back. So now, let's take a look at some of the accessories. But first, let's take a look at the environmental base here. This is the environmental base. I think this is the item that was actually included with the timed edition. So this was not included with the standard edition. This was kind of the exclusive part. Here was this environmental base, which I think is pretty nice. Nice little. Oh, I love how they did this. This is, you can kind of see it right here, the water. You kind of see the sheen right there with the sand. It's like a little moist right closer to where the water. That is really nice. Nice detail there. Look at that. See, you kind of see the sand. It's almost got that little wet effect there. Yeah, very nicely done, Mondo. Very nicely done, guys. Yeah, the people behind us is really well done. You got all the little detail, little paint up there, and something goes right here. We'll have to figure all this out. But yeah, let's take a closer look at all this. Look at the detail. Look at that. It's almost like a clear with a little bit some light paint. The crest of the froth of the water, the waves right there. Yeah, I love how they did that. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but yeah, the detail, very, very nice. Love that. And I love that. Like I said, I really love that. The wetness there on the shore. We're closer to the water. Nice detail. Really good detail. And look at the bottom of the base. Just kind of showing the Universal City, just the copyright. All the copyright stuff. So that's about it. So yeah. And even looking at the sides. Kind of look at the sides here. And even the back. You got where the water would be. Yeah, this is really nice. Very nice. Definitely worth. If you're able to pick up the timed edition, this is definitely worth getting. Definitely worth having. This is a very nice addition to it. So all the other pieces. Let's take a look at the other accessories. That is looks like one of the leaves. We'll put it all together and show you, but just kind of show you all the different pieces. That's one of the leaves there. We have another smaller leaf right there. Another plant. Let's go in order here, and I love this little guy here. If I can get him out. He came out earlier. Get him out of here. Let's see if we can get him out of here. Yeah, there we go. We can get him. Come on, guy. Get out of there. Get out of there. All right. Here we go. The turtle. Little turtle. Love the turtle. Check that out. Very cool. Let's see if we can get a little close up at this guy, the detail. Let's see if we can get him in there. We got the bottom nicely painted. Nice detail. Love the detail there. Let's move some lights here. Okay, let's just see if we can get this guy here in focus there. Very nice. Nice little detail, and he's got his little head there. Yeah, very nice. I love the bottom. He's even painted on the bottom. So yeah, very, very cool. Look at the shell right there. You can kind of see some of the detail in there. Very nicely done. The rock, just a little rock that goes on the diorama, the little environmental base there. Nice paintwork on there. Love the gradations there. Looks cool. All right, just a piece of the creature. And that's actually one of the parts. Maybe when you, I don't know, because like I said, this actually has a portrait of the Revenge of the Creature, the second movie. It has a portrait of that. It has an underwater portrait, and it also has the land portrait. So we'll look at all those heads once we get to figure out. All right, let's see what's the first thing we're going to take out of here. Let's take out the base. Let's take out the display base here. It looks like your standard Mondo base. No frills, no thrills, but a nice base here. So yeah. So I don't think we'll be displaying him on this one since we do have the environmental base, but we may do it as an option one day. And what we have underneath the base is another part for the diorama, which is pretty cool. Some more foliage. And these are, feel like there might be a plastic. All right, what is this over here? Aha, this is some chains. You can see the chains. Well, we'll display that later, but you can see there is a chain, an actual metal chain with basically like a handcuff, pretty much a shackle. So this, is this attached? Can you detach this, or maybe you just put his hand? Oh, I guess you put his. I guess you could put his arm there. You can't detach that. It'd be kind of cool. This is a magnet, but very cool. This actually feels like it's plastic, and it's got a metal chain, which is nice. Nice touch. We'll display him with that. Very cool. All right, so they got a chain. And then we got here another well-known little piece that was kind of featured in the film. The fossilized or bone, the hand of the creature from the Black Lagoon that they found in the movie. Very nice detail. Again, plastic, very cool. They're kind of bendy, but you don't want to bend them too much and break them. But yeah, very cool. All right, now we got a nice bendable part of the display. This actually will bend. It's pretty much standard metal. Very flexible. And also the waist grabber for the base. This piece will go on in this place right here. So yep, very cool, very nice. All right, so we got that option for display. Now let's take a look at this piece here. This is probably where that big old part of the base was wondering what that went. Is this piece of wood that goes in that one section of the diorama. A nice chunk of wood. Again, very nicely detailed. The paint application on this is really nicely done. Very cool. Yeah, it's the weather. Yeah, it goes all the way up to there. Yeah, very cool. And it's plastic, so you gotta be careful, make sure this doesn't break. All right, another diorama piece, which is pretty cool. The snake. Gosh, I love this. Look at the snake. Very nicely painted. Yeah, look at that. Look at the detail. Got the little sheen to it. Wow. You got the bottom of the snake painted up. Very nicely done. Yeah, that's really nice. Very, very nice. Let's take a look at this piece here. I'm just saying, like I said, I've been a fan. I've recently, like I said, it's been a couple years that I've watched The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I ended up getting Julia Adams' book. Got several autographed pictures of her. Even with, which maybe one day I might maybe show it on my channel. I've got several pictures of her, of Julia, from The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and some other shots of her, autographed photos of her. Let's see. This is nice. This is nice. Love that they included this base. This little stand, actually a display stand. Very, very cool. So you can pretty much put your other heads in there, and I'm almost thinking these attached by magnets. You put a magnet on it. So I'm trying to think this actually, I don't think this actually comes off. This is kind of cool. This is actually attached to it. So you can kind of just put your extra heads on that and just display it with your creature, which love the detail, love the thought that they included this piece. Yeah, this is really nice. I mean, look at that. Yeah, the painting, Mondo really did a really good job on the detail work, the painting, the sculpt. especially all the artists and all the crew, people that are mentioned on the box, especially Beto, Natali, which doesn't surprise me that he was on this because he's well known. He's done some really beautiful customs of a lot of horror. He's one of the experts of the horror, all the creatures, and he's done several different ones. As you saw at the beginning, I've got that Creepshow. That's probably one of my most treasured pieces in my 1/6 scale collection of the crate piece from Creepshow that he did, that custom, one of a kind. All right, so let's take out, he's got some hand sculpts in here, which is very nice. So let's take the plastic off these guys here real quick. Yeah, I love that each piece here is actually in a piece of plastic, very protected. And most companies don't do this. I mean, there are some that actually just will have the pieces in the clamshell without any kind of extra plastic, which is, now let me get this off camera. The nails is stuck on this guy here. I'm gonna have to rip the heck out of this thing here. Yeah, the nail punctured the plastic, so look at that. Wow. The sculpt, the paint, again, the detail on this thing is phenomenal. Yeah, really, really, really looks good. I mean, look at that. I mean, seriously. All the details, all the little suction things, whatever these are right here, very nicely sculpted. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, no surprise. Beto does a freaking amazing job on sculpting all these creatures and stuff. And then, like I said, very nice that he was actually involved with this project, which I had no idea he was. I can't believe I missed that. Even when I pre-ordered this, I didn't see he was part of this project. I'm not going to take this one out. They're pretty much identical, so they're pretty much similar. So you saw one, you've seen the other one, so they're pretty similar. So I might end up taking that out later and displaying them. So let's move on to the creature himself. Actually, I got ahead of myself. We need to take a look at these two guys. I said we're going to take a look at the figure itself right now. No, let's take. Oh, this guy looks like, I think that might be the revenge. That might be the revenge creature. Revenge of the creature. The second part. This one looks like this could be the underwater portrait. It's looking like it could be the underwater portrait when he's underwater. Oh yeah, look at that. Good gravies, look at that. That is so well sculpted. Super impressed. Love every bit of this sculpt here. Wow, look at that. Very nice. So this looks like the underwater portrait. Look at the back, the detail on that. And then I'm going to see if I'm going to put him on this stand. And I'm almost certain this one is the revenge from the sequel to The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the actual, and I have that one. I have a 4K Blu-ray set, I think, or I don't know if it's 4K, but Blu-ray. It might be 4K. And I remember seeing this movie as well. Yeah, look at that. The detail, kind of hard to sell, but you can see that there's little detail, little yellow in the eyes. It's almost like a translucent. That is really nicely done. Look at that. The detail, the fin. Yeah, so I think there's a magnet in there. There's a magnet that'll attach. You can see the details on the side. And I think there's other pieces of the plate. I think it might be for his look. It might have, if you want, you can make him the full figure with this guy. So yeah, really nicely done. Even the top, look at that. The detail on that is pretty amazing. The moment everyone is waiting for, the actual figure itself. So let's take this guy out of his clamshell, his hibernation there. All right, let's see, how is he wrapped? Oh wow, look at that. He's wrapped up with a little foam. So we'll take this out. Very nice with that extra protection. Now let's pick him up out of here. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. All right, there he is. What I like about this, which is kind of unique, and as I even mentioned in the description, it's not a hard plastic, his body. it's pretty much like he's in the, this is rubber, so you gotta be really careful when articulating him. He's almost like a man in a suit. It could be almost like a human guy in a suit. So this is like a rubber suit. I think the first release was all plastic, wasn't like this, which is kind of almost like true to the actual the actual film creature that was in the film. He didn't do very much articulation, so I'm almost certain there's going to be very limited articulation on this figure, but that's okay. Like I said, he did not pretty much do a lot of movements and articulation in the film itself, so it's going to be good. So it's almost, he's limited in articulation because of the almost like a rubber, he's like a rubber suit, which basically was a man in a rubber suit, and it's pretty much close to exactly keeping to the film. So yeah, look at that. The detail on this guy here. Wow. We'll just look at all the, before we do any demonstrating articulation, we'll kind of look at the, just look at his, all the detail on this guy here. Yeah, look at that. Wow. And look at the back of his gecko gills, little fins back here. Look at the detail. The paintwork on this thing is definitely, again, well executed. Look at that. Certain areas look really brighter green on the video, I'm sure, on the camera, but he's definitely got some a lot of different tones of green. And his head, see, it doesn't really move, because he didn't really move too much as it is. So I gotta say, before, I almost missed this part, but I had to check out the bottom of the feet and see if there was a logo, and there was way more than detail in this bottom of the feet than expected. So very impressed. It was not even just, you know, they could have just went, I would go flat, the logo and the copyright dates, but no, they actually went above and beyond. Even got down to the bottom of the feet with all the different textures and the sculpt. I'm very impressed with that. Nice job. Nice job. Let's talk about the articulation here, guys. Very limited because it's like a guy in a rubber suit, so we can move his arms like that. Just like you see in the movies. You can actually move it back a little bit. You can pretty much move it pretty much like that. You don't want to force it any further because you got a rubber suit. So you can put it back like that. Let's see, move this up. It pretty much moves that's about as far as you're going to get. I don't want to go any further. This will actually pretty much moves. Again, you don't want to go any further because you got the restrictive nature of this suit. Like I said, even though, you know, even in the movies, he did not move very much. I mean, yeah, he did, but very restrictive. I mean, you can see there's moving on in the ankles. Move it up. You can see this definitely rubber. Definitely feels good rubber. So yeah, there's limitations of movement in his arms, his hands. You can see comes out pretty easy and goes on pretty easy. And he can bend a little bit, but very, 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 very restrictive on that aspect, which doesn't bother me at all because, again, he had very limited mobility in the movie itself. So you can take this out, and now you got the portrait ready for underwater. So that is it right there. Very cool. Loving it. And he stands on his own. Here I'm showing the chest plate is different from the Revenge of the Creature. So you can see that is the Revenge of the Creature. The chest plate is swappable. Two different chest plates. So 2 figures in 1. And there is the diorama. There is the environmental base. Very cool. Got the little snake in the tree back in the back. Pretty cool. The turtle. You can place the hand there if you want, the bones. You don't have to, but like I said, I'll probably take that out when I display him on the base, and I'll show that here in a little bit. But yeah, very, very, very nice presentation. Definitely worth the extra little bonus in this time edition, this addition to this environment. And there he is, all set up on the base. And let's do a 360 here. Yeah, just a really, really, very, very good release. I am just definitely impressed. Like I said, I missed out on the first release Mondo did, and super glad I was able to catch this one while it was still on pre-order on the timed edition. Like I said, for a very limited time they had it on pre-order, and once they closed it, how Mondo works it would close at a certain date, a specific time span. You can order these timed editions, but they always include an exclusive piece to it. And yeah, this was definitely worth the wait. It was supposed to be released in November of this year as I'm recording this video, but it actually came out in October, which was pretty amazing. Not too often you get, you know, figures, they give you a scheduled release date and never makes it. They push it up. This one actually came a real surprise when I got the shipping notice in October that it was on its way. So yeah, definitely worth the wait. And I'm going to show you the display, the flight display base. We call it flight because you can actually configure, if you want to display them with the underwater portrait, the other display base does a perfect job on that. And I'll show that here in the next segment. Well, there he is, the underwater portrait in this supposedly quote-unquote flight stand. Even though there's a little clip back there, he's really hard to even be displayed with him completely levitated off that, you know, floating. Trying to get this little clip back there that seems like it holds it, but it just does not want to go on there. So that's pretty much the best position I got him on there. But yeah, that's pretty much if you want to use him, I guess, you know, display him like underwater. That's a wrap with this review. Hope it was helpful. Overall, solid figure by Mondo. Thanks for sticking around. Please hit the subscribe button for more. Until the next one, take care.